had the ball in his left hand, and he just palms it, runs with it and palms it, and then he switches to his right hand, and unforced error, with nobody swatting at the ball, he just loses the ball. I don't know.
Yes.
He just loses the ball. This is it, man. This is 32 seconds. You're down 2. So if you can get the ball to Book, Devin Booker obviously had a hot hand. I said yesterday they were very concerned about Devin Booker coming out of game 2 because he had tweaked his hamstring, had tightness. They were scared to death that it was bothering him through game 3, which is why Monty Williams didn't play him down the stretch of the third quarter or any in the fourth quarter. But last night, he got his legs back under him. He wore that sleeve on the left hamstring, but Devin Booker had a great game. So you wasted that, and you might have had another shot late in the game if Chris Paul just hangs on to the basketball. And instead, you have 2 big turnovers by Chris that lead to runouts. Well, you're going to lose at Milwaukee because the crowd's going to go just
crazy,
berserk. And then, Shannon, I got to get this off my chest. As great as Book was last night, and, you know, he winds up, you know, it's a great game. He had 42 points, but what is he thinking? He's been around long enough to think better than this. If we could see the 5th foul that he committed with 10:50 left in the fourth quarter, this is often, you know, he's just trying to block out Tucker, and he just runs him, you know, he runs it.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Hey,
Come on,
you can't do it. You got 4 fouls.
Right.
I know you're trying to screen him off and you're trying to save another offensive rebound, but Shannon, you're better than that. You're smarter. And you cost your team because now you cost yourself in the fourth quarter some precious minutes. You're going to have to go sit for 5 minutes of the fourth quarter, and it was crucial because I believe if he hadn't committed the 5th foul, that he could have played more than he did. He ended up, you know, well, he just had to sit for 5 minutes. And the point is, then we had the next play that he was involved in, which should have been a 6th foul with 3:41 left, if we could see that one. It's like an absolute butcher job. He just
he wrapped the guy up. Yes, he wraps the guy up.
He wrapped him up, and how can you miss this?
Look at this. He got his arm around him and everything. Arm on the left, his left arm is around him, and his right arm is around the guy's waist. Look at this. That's a foul.
What are you doing?
That's a foul.
And Capers, the crew chief, said after the game in a statement that I missed it because I thought he got all ball the first time through until I saw the replay and I realized that he was wrapping him up. Well, how could you think he got all ball?
Right.
It's not even close. And so the point was, with 3:41 left in the game, Devin Booker should have been gone. And if he had been gone as he should have been at that point, and by the way, Shannon, what is he thinking on that foul? He took like a take foul, like I've only got 2 fouls and I'm going to make him shoot the free throws kind of foul. Did he forget that he had 5?
I think he did forget. It was the same thing that we saw the other night, Skip, with DeAndre Ayton. Giannis got loose on a break, and he just give that one up. Just give it up. You're right, Skip. Chris Paul, and it seems Chris Paul was palming the ball because what does he always try to do, Skip? He always tries to get back to his dominant right hand and elevate. And so, for whatever reason, Skip, he hasn't been able to hold on to the ball. You talk about the turnovers in the fourth quarter. What about the turnovers at the start of the game when they was building a lead, when they had a 6, 8-point lead, and Chris Paul was coming down and turning the ball over what could have been a 10 or a 12-point lead? Chris Paul was awful last night. There's no way around it. I don't want to hear nothing about the Skip. You talk about the game 6. What about the game 1 closeout, Chris, that we saw? Who was sensational?
He was sensational. I agree. And he did say after game 6 that he had been bothered by a partially torn ligament in the wrist of his shooting hand. Well, it didn't bother him in game 1, as you just pointed out, nor in game 6. And so I'm trying to give him a little break here or there, but I can't give him any injury break for this game. This was just bad basketball.
Yes.
I don't...
Skip. But he has his left wrist taped up.
Yeah, he does.
If it's his right wrist, why isn't your right wrist taped?
Okay.
But Skip, they've got to do something about these offensive rebounds. P.J. Tucker had 3. Coddington had 3. You look at Holiday had 3. Skip, you've got to keep their guards off the boards. Devin Booker, I'm looking at Devin Booker, Skip. Devin Booker had 1 rebound. Really, Book? I understand that you're a scorer, you got to score, but you got to get me more than 1 rebound because Connaughton came in and gave him 9.
He did. And by the way, Connaughton can jump, but Shannon, to your point about offensive rebounds, I want to show one that occurred with 5:22 left in the game, and it cut the lead, the Phoenix lead, to 3, and it was a Connaughton putback, like a little tip in, if we could see it.
Yes!
Right under Ayton's nose. And I don't know what Ayton is doing here. He just doesn't see him, doesn't try to lean in and shield him a little bit, screen him off a little bit, and Connaughton just cuts right to the basket and just puts it right back in. It was called a tip in, but he caught the ball and just laid it in off the glass right in Ayton's face. Well,
that wasn't the only time, Skip. You remember on the missed free throw, Brook Lopez got a tip in over Ayton.
It's horrible. That's just, again, that's desire to me. That's just guts, heart, whatever you want to call it. Like, I want this ball bad and worse than you do. And
I agree.
What are you doing? And yet and still, Giannis was actually still kind of coming apart late in the game because we had a couple of things go wrong there. Look at this. With 2:30 left, he commits the silliest foul. Giannis did. It's like he's trying to lose the game, too, at that point, off a rebound, a defensive rebound by Jay Crowder. He just reaches in, if we could see this, and just slaps him across the face. And I thought, Giannis, what are you doing? It's 2:30 left in the game, and he sent Crowder to the free throw line, and he made both of them to put Phoenix up 2. So it's like, Giannis, are you trying to give the game back? That each team was trying to, like, give it, I'll give it to you, and you give it back to me. And then if we could see one last thing with 14.7 seconds left, Giannis is so lucky that they led by 4 at this point and not 3, because if we could see Giannis, he tries to inbounds the ball. Here it is. And he doesn't quite get out of bounds. He's standing in bounds when he inbounds to Middleton. Are you believing that? And it's off the Booker, like, little breakaway layup. And Giannis, what are you doing? Giannis, you have to get both feet out of bounds. Well, they missed it. They didn't call it. But what if that had been a 3-point game and they missed that call?
Right.
So it's like one disaster after debacle after disaster after disappointment upon disappointment. And yet, when you step back in the